Hey guys, DJ LaFave here with another quick, semi-quick audio visual solutions. Today I'm going to teach you how to add Facebook chat spotlights to your OBS broadcast. It's a two-click solution, one click with your mouse and one click with a button on an incredible piece of software called Bitfocus Companion. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how this works. Right now I have a live stream broadcast going on right now, a little private broadcast. All I'm going to do is I'm going to left click and I'm going to highlight the chat that I want to spotlight, right? That's it. Now I'm going to push a button, boom, and in about 3 seconds, you've got the chat spotlight on your computer. So all you have to do with this solution is highlight the text and then push the button and bam, it's on your screen. There's other ways to go about doing this that take a little bit longer, but that was pretty quick, right? So just as another example, here's another example. Type it in there. All right. So the other example is in there. Goes off, and then we're going to highlight this Lenny LaFave character. Not sure who he is. Now I'm going to push a button, click, and it's going to do his business, and bam, it is now up on the screen. So super fast for when you are doing a broadcast on Facebook. The same idea for this works with Twitch. It will work with YouTube, Mixcloud, anything you're using it'll work with. And we're going to dive into that right now of how to make this all happen through OBS. All right, so let's get the OBS portion of this done and out of the way. So what I got is a blank scene up here, and the first thing you're going to want to do is this is whatever scene you're broadcasting on, right? So this is scene one. What we're going to do now is add a second scene, and this scene we are going to call it Facebook chat overlay. Okay, something really bland, bliggity splat. So now that scene is created. So in this scene, I'm going to make this very bland. You guys can spruce it up however it is that you want to spruce it up. But this is just to get through it quickly, and then you can make it as nice and neat as you want. So for background, you can design a background in Photoshop with a JPEG, PNG, or PNG. You can design it in PowerPoint if you want. For here, what I just showed you in the first portion of this video is just color sources. So what you're going to do is you're going to add a source right here. Click the plus button. Bam. We're going to add a color source. Color source. Now in the color source section, you're going to call this Facebook chat background, and we'll click OK, and we're just going to keep it white, keep it nice and simple. Okay. All right, the next thing I did was I cropped it. So in order to crop it, I'm in OBS version 26. I should let you know that. Take your cursor, and what you're going to want to do is go to this little square down here, and on a Windows computer, you're going to hold down the Alt button and just drag it up. Now I'm going to drag it up to be about half the screen size right there, maybe a little bit higher. And this way you just get some proportions going on. You can make it however you want to make it, okay? The next thing I want you to do is create a new text file right here, just a new one. And we're going to go File, Save As, and then I keep all mine in an OBS folder called Text, and we're going to call this one Facebook Tutorial. Okay, so now Facebook Tutorial has been created. We have a text box right here, and we're going to hit close. Okay, so now let's go back to sources. We're going to add a source, and it's going to be a text source. So text source pops up right there, and we will call this Facebook chat. Enter. All right. The font that they use, what I read is what they use in Facebook is Segu UI. So we just go right down here, right past it, and I will go with Segu UI. And I found that 100 point font bold works good for this solution. So now we click Okie dokie. And the next thing you want to do is read the text from a file. Just click that box, and then we are going to now browse for that file that we just created. So right now it's here. I put it in my text folder, and the most recent one is Facebook. All right. We want to change the text color to black for this example because we have a white background. And scroll down here. what you're going to want to do is use custom text extents. And for my output, it's 1920 by, we'll say it's going to be about 500. 500 is the height for this, about half the screen, 1080, 540. We click OK. Let me zoom back out for you guys right here. So now you can see my text extents go to a right around there. So I have a little bit of a border on the bottom, a little bit of border on the top. That's cool, right? So now what I want you to do is, just as this example goes, we go back to that text file right here that we created earlier, Facebook tutorial, and I'm going to write Facebook name, and then here is the message. That's kind of what you're copying pasting what I showed you earlier. You're going to get a name and you're going to get a message. Now I'm just going to hit Control S for save, and it's going to show up right there. So now we have the Facebook name and here is the message. So from a very raw perspective, that's how this whole thing works. So you've got a text file that you're just copying, pasting, putting it into, and bam, there you go. So you can, that's part one. Now you have the scene, right? You have the scene associated here. Now let's go back up to scene one. And one of the great things you can do in OBS is you can nest scenes as sources. So to show you what I mean, imagine on this screen is your overlay, your game, your webcam, everything that you see right here, what I showed you earlier, is all of that. We're just showing a blank screen for it right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another source, and it's going to be a scene. Let's see if we can't zoom in here. Right, scene right there. Now in this scene, we're going to add an existing scene, and we're going to add the Facebook chat overlay right there. So now the Facebook chat overlay comes up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring it down a little bit, change the sizing of it, use that crop tip I just showed you again, holding the Alt button, putting your arrow around this block, and just bringing it up. So now you can move this message around wherever you'd like. To make it go away, again, you just would hit this little eyeball right here, eyeball gone, eyeball back. And then the message is back on. Message gone, message back, message gone, message back. If we were to, let's say we are now back in Facebook and we want to take another chat message. So all I'm going to do is Facebook name 2, and here's the message 2, and we hit Control S for save. And on our screen, it's going to update just like that. So that is how you do it from a very, 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 very raw perspective, right? So that's the behind the scenes of how this all functions. Now, what I have included and incorporated into this whole big fun mess is something called Bitfocus Companion. So Bitfocus Companion is a tool that a lot of people do video production with. It's a stream deck, essentially, that you can configure to be used either with a web interface or using any other device that's connected locally on your network. Now, shame on me for not having any tutorials on how to use this software yet, but I'm going to tease you with the functionality of what you can do with it in this video, and then I encourage you to like and subscribe to this channel, because very, very soon I'm going to show you how to install it, how to configure it, how to get profiles for it. So it's really, 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 really awesome. Just to showcase the awesomeness that this thing is, I'm going to just bring this up on my phone real quick. So everything you see on my screen, right, is it's pretty cool, but it replicates on my, oh no, stupid. There we go. Well, it replicates on my phone. So all these buttons you see, hold it down right there, all these buttons you see on the screen are actually also on my phone. So when I push a button on my phone, it does actions on my computer. And that's pretty cool and pretty important for how this whole thing works. You don't need a Stream Deck. You don't need the Elgato Stream Deck, although I recommend if you're a techie, go check it out. It's fun. But this would work on a secondary computer. It actually works right here on your own computer. It has this thing up here called Web Buttons. So when you click on Web Buttons, another screen pops up, and then bam, you just click on these buttons and things happen, things that you program. If you do like the Stream Deck, well, then it gives you a little emulator. You could zoom in, and then you can kind of push these buttons. So this is I do a broadcast with an organization called Game Changer, where we bring local law enforcement and community residents together, and to discuss problems and whatnot. So one of the things that I'm responsible on the Zoom calls, these virtual events, is to run the speaker shot clock. So I can right here is I can check out how much time is left on the shot clocks, which just pushes the buttons. It's really, really awesome. So what did I do right here? I use this thing right here, the Facebook chat, and on the right hand side you'll see all of the different combinations that I've pre-programmed in here. So when I push the button, so the first thing that I would do is I would be on my live stream and I would highlight the chat that I want to spotlight, right? So then I push this button on my phone that controls everything going on with OBS, and the first thing it does is it does a Control C. So that copies the text from the chat message. Then it's going to open a file. It's going to open that file, that text file that we just created. And then each one of these has a short delay. That way it kind of gives the system some time to recognize each command and to perform it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Control A, which highlights everything within that text document. Then it's going to perform a Control V, which pastes it into that document. Then it's going to do a Control S, which saves it in that document. And then it's going to activate the source of my Facebook chat overlay in my OBS stream broadcast. And then once that's all done, it's going to close the text file. Really, really spiffy stuff right there, right? Pretty awesome. And then if I want to push the button again, the next thing I do is I push the button and then my chat overlay goes away. So I get my chat overlay, I get everything. And the only thing that I have to do is just push two buttons. So I've essentially showed you the raw way of doing it. This is the more complex setup, but as you see, you're talking less than 5 seconds to now get a chat message onto your screen. So, again, like and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to go very in depth on how Bitfocus Companion works. I think it's an amazing tool. I actually just started using it like 3 days ago, and I'm just head over heels in love with it. So check it out, and I'll make sure that I have very, very, very in-depth tutorials. I'm gonna probably put this out as a profile that you can just even download this and then just add it to your configuration, and then you'll have this button. But other things that Bitfocus does is we're going to show you. You know, right here I have my tutorial set up, right? This is what my tutorial screen looks like. So I have it configured. You see these numbers on the right, 1 through 16. Basically these are zoomed in. If you could picture my screen, this screen that you're looking at to the right of me is broken up into 16 spots. Well, here is the bottom right, and then here we keep moving over, and then all this is in OBS I created zooms. I created crops of the page, so then I can zoom in on the fly with these buttons, and then we're just slowly bringing it in, right? Then I'll get rid of all of them right like that. And then I made bigger ones as well, where I can zoom in just to the center of the screen, pop out. I can go to the top left. I can go to the top right. I can go bottom left. Really just all push of buttons, and very, very, very awesome. And then let's say you the same idea with the donation, the chat overlay. You can do donations too. The same concept, push of a button. So then I just hit donation alert, and hey, Melinda just sent me $20, and I'm gonna make it rain right here. And that's just pushing the button, and you control everything. You control the text. You control all of the great stuff. So if you're watching this and you dig this and you want to donate, well, hey, djlefave.com/donate. But even more important than donating, I would just love it if you guys subscribe to the channel. And like I said earlier, I'm going to be putting I'll be putting some stuff up on the screen on my website, djlefave.com, that will be resources for this to help you on your Bitfocus Companion endeavors. So on the page, hey, look, you can subscribe immediately from there, and then we have virtual downloads. We go full store. Everything is essentially free at this current moment. There are suggested prices, but that you could also suggest that, no, I don't want to pay anything. For all of my Bitfocus stuff, 50% of whatever you donate, I'm giving back to the development of this open source program that they have. The other 50%, it's going to fuel my coffee habit. So we'll definitely rock out with that. But then I have a couple other neat things over here for the Elgato Stream Deck. But that's really most of what I have for you here right now. We are going to turn that off right there. So it's a very cool feature to be able to add a chat spotlight to your broadcast from literally anything. Or if you were teaching and you wanted to add, some crap there, you could. But there you have it, DJ LaFave with another one of your audio-visual virtual tutorials. Holler in the comments if you have any questions, and stay tuned for more really in-depth videos on how this technology, this free technology, works for you and how it could benefit your broadcast, your teaching, your Zoom events, whatever you want. You got it. All right, DJ LaFave.